Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Deborah and today I'm going to start working on my project using my little squares. Now I have dubbed them my binchies because if you have a 1 by 1 inch it's an inchy, and if you have a 2 by 2 it's a twinchy, and this is between the 1 and the 2. So I've started calling them binchies, which is just my term, just a funny little thing so that I can have something to call them, because I was a bit annoyed that I couldn't think of anything to call them. But so what I'm doing instead of a book is I'm using the cover of this atlas, and this is massive. It's about 15 by 10 or 11 inches wide, and I'm going to cover the front cover, the inside cover, the back cover, and then maybe the back of it. I'm not sure about the back yet. And what I'm going to do is cover one of these, or a similar size, for my two sisters, and maybe even one for myself. Because what I thought is you can stand this up like this so that it becomes a frame. And I'm having trouble getting it in shot because it's so big compared to the height of my camera, but that's okay. So this is the frame, and you can see that I've pulled the center out, and I've also covered the center piece in washi. And then on the outside I've done the same. I've covered the spine in washi. I haven't bothered covering the rest. I don't think I need to, because I can put everything down on it. Now I think that this will go. I've measured it up and I'm crossing my fingers I have my dimensions correct, that this will be enough that it'll fit exactly across if I leave a little bit at the top. I have measured it, but you never know. Sometimes measurements go wrong. So this should come right to the edge of the spine, and I might just put a couple of these down so I can see how it's going to fit. Now this one needs to come up because it's got a little leaf that sticks out on the edge of it. Not necessarily the order I'm putting them in, just to test out the width. The height I think I can sort of play with, but the width will need to be fairly good. So that's where that's going to come to, and that's the spine of the book there. So I've got some leeway there. So the whole thing's going to be covered, and so it's sort of like a photo frame. You'll be able to stand it up on the counter. Then when you get sick of it, you can close it up and put it away. And at least then I've used these little things I've made, and I have to make a heap more. And also the photos that I have in my possession. Just spread them around the family a bit more than what they are at the moment. So I've already found one photo and covered it, and I'll do another one in a moment. It wasn't quite wide enough for the little piece, and so I put this piece across both of them so I would have it wide enough. Because this one talks about all you need to change the world is a pen, I'm going to put this one down because it's got a pen nib on it. I thought that might be quite pretty to have that little metal nib. That's one of the Tim Holtz nibs. I did that yesterday. I made this one. Making sure that I'm really nesting them right to each other. It's a bit like quilting, really. Maybe I should put this one down here. Oh no, that's got a little leaf on it. I think I need to find another one. Put this one here. Now I'm not worrying about taking the double-sided tape off the back that I used to secure that ribbon yesterday. For me that's not a concern because I'm just sticking it all down with glue anyway. But if you had put it on there and you wanted to take it off, you could. It wouldn't be a problem. Okay, now I need some more photos, so let me just see if I can find some. Now when you're picking out a photo, you need to kind of find one that's going to fit. So I need 1.5 by 1.5, or I need one that is 3 by 3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I may get that in 3 by 3, or I can do one that is 1.5 high and 3 wide. Maybe that's a better thing. I might do that. Okay, so I need one that's 3 inches wide. This little cutter at 3 inches is here, but that's going to cut right through a face, so I don't want that. I know I have to cut the side of it off. Let me turn it around now, And I'll just move some of those, it's rocking a little bit, and cut that. Now again, I'm going to cut through a face. So you may have to just work back and forth to work out how to cut the photo down. And now I want 1.5 inches high. So I really need to put this, let me just check. This is 1 inch, so if I take it down a bit, I'm probably not going to get the cake in. I wonder if I can do it 3 inches high. I could do it 3 inches high. 1, 2, 3. Let's try that. So I basically have a piece that is 3 by 3. That's fine. I can live with that, I think. Now I have scans of all of these photos, so that's why I'm confidently able to chop them up, because I know that I've got them all scanned and they're in my computer in date order. So that way I'm not worried that I'm chopping up something and then not going to have that photo again in the future, because it'll be on this. But if you haven't, then I guess you either need to do that or you need to be careful about what photos you use. So by putting the 4 little bits of card on the back, you're probably wondering why I'm bothering when it's completely covered in a photo. And the answer is because of the height of it. It'll sit snugly under here now. Okay, so it's not going to go below where the things are. It's actually going to sit level with them. And that's what I want. Of course, if you wanted to have yours higher or lower, that would be your choice and you can do that. But for me, I want to use these little blocks anyway. And plus, I want everything to be sitting on the same level, unless I choose to pop it up a bit higher and make it a bit more 3D. And I'm also not worrying about which photos are going where, because I think it'll look good anyway. I think I said that yesterday when I was working, that to me it doesn't really matter where the photos are going, because once you get everything on, it's just such a, you know, for the eye, it's just like, wow, look at all these pictures that are everywhere. And therefore it doesn't matter that they're in, you know, different time zone, you know, times and things like that. Now I want to make sure that I get like something like this here with the butterfly and maybe the word then. So I need one up here and I want to make that a photo. Again, back to my pile of photos to see what I've got. Now I think this one, I'll make this 3 inches wide by 1.5. This is a photo of my mum and my sister and her daughter. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure that I get everyone in shot. I don't chop too many people off. And that it fits onto the square that I'm looking at. So I'm going to cut right here. So I know that if I then chop here, I'm getting to the 1.5 inches. And you can see I've retained everyone who's in the picture. That's looking quite good. Now, if you're wondering why I'm using my palette knife with my helmers, it's because it dried out. And this is the only way that I can use it now. I left the lid off and it dried out. And so I've had to put something in there to kind of get it to run again, because it was just really quite like a blob. And it seems to have worked, which is great. And it still seems to be sticking. So that's why I now have to use the palette knife for that as well. And then I'm going to put this up here. So my aim is to have the photos dotted throughout this, and also to make sure that I don't kind of put 2 photos together. I'd like them to be spread. I don't want them to be necessarily butted up against each other. I also don't want them all to be just a binchie. I'd like to have, you know, some of them a double binchie, and like this one, which is 4. So this is a 2 binchie thing here. I quite like that butterfly I've put there too, and this little thing here. I may as well go ahead and pop those down, I think. So how's that looking? I think it looks quite good at the moment, doesn't it? A few little pictures. Yeah, I think that's fine, but I really want to get some more of the little squares decorated. In particular because the ones I decorated here, I really did for myself, and so they're kind of more me than they are my sister, or either of my sisters actually. The three of us have very different tastes. I've just got another photo. I'm quickly just putting some glue on the back so I can see where I want to position it. And this one goes across. It's a 2 binchies together, and it's in landscape mode, not portrait. See if I can find a spot for it before I finish up. Oh, that one went flying. Never mind. What about along here? So when I'm cutting the photos, I'm trying to make sure that I don't actually cut through other photos that I could possibly use. See, I can use that photo, but I can also use this one here. So I'm just trimming this up to be the correct size. I think in terms of 1.5, I've got the height correct, but the width, but not the height. I think that's pretty good now. And a bit of glue on the back, and I'm going to put that down on the edge there where I was going to put the other one. And I had to scooch the thing down. Just slide that in there. It's coming along well. Somebody else mentioned or made a comment about this would be like a good sort of almost a jigsaw puzzle to do with the kids and grandkids. I actually never thought of that, but yes, you could do that, couldn't you? You'd have them so that you could move them around whenever you wanted them and all sorts of things. I think that's quite good. I've got maybe a third of the front cover done, and that hasn't taken that long, but I'm going to continue to work through it and see if I can, you know, make something that looks really pretty. And this one here I made and I don't like it, so I'm going to cut off the bit that I don't like. That can go in the bin. And then I'm going to put this up here where I want it. It's got a little bird on it, so I'll put that in there. And now you can start to see, hopefully, and I'll show you some more tomorrow, but hopefully you can start to see that it doesn't matter that each of the little squares is different, because I'm just putting them down, and as it's growing it's looking really cool. It doesn't have to be all, you know, all the same sort of type. Now that's the wrong family, so I won't put that one in there, but I've just popped that there so you can see that, you know, just putting whatever photo or thing you've got in, it'll still work. So a great idea to use all your little scraps, I think, as I mentioned yesterday, and I will continue with this and see how it turns out. And I think that it's still going to open, even because I haven't gone over the edge of where it folds, so it's going to open up and be able to be set up somewhere, and I think it's a good project. I'm really happy that I got this going, and thank you to Nat and Sel from Paper Possibility Crazy Crafters for setting, you know, using inchies and twinchies as one of the monthly challenges, because otherwise I really wouldn't have got this out again. So I appreciate that, because now it's given me something to get my teeth into, and I'm really enjoying it. So until next time, this is Deborah. Cheers.